Yes. Yeah, open the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. Here.
Here. Here. So first off will be to approve the meeting minutes of September 11th and September 18th. Bring it, I second.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Next up, we have the presentation in the Learning Center for the community, which is Stephanie.
Should you like stand here?
Oh.
Should you have to be at the mic? I have to be at the mic.
Yeah. I can't shit.
Got it. Okay, I'll sit right here then. And I look at the slides. Okay, so I'm really happy to be here today. My name is Stephanie Ortolano. I'm the Executive Director for the Dryden Center for Community. And I just wanted to let you guys know what we're up to and ask for some support in some way. Our mission is that we are going to be a hub for creativity and connection right in the heart of the village, Dryden. We're in the process of purchasing the former Dryden United Methodist Church. Yeah. So I'm the executive director. Tom Sinclair is our board president. So, we have a couple of our other board members here, Kathy Wakeman, who's our secretary, and Craig Scott, who's one of our board members. We have, I have kind of a list of who we are. And we started out actually back in March with a bunch of people who were saying, we had an exploratory committee that was looking to see whether a community center would be feasible in Dryden, especially with the possibilities of that church ending as a church and being a vacant building for sale. Can we turn this into the community center that Dryden's wanted for a long time? And keep going forward there. So for many years, some people have said, 30 years, people have been talking about a community center in Dryden. There's been some assessments done by Dryden Rec and the library. We've all said, people support this idea. We had the Dryden Community Cafe that lasted for a couple of years that, they did a lot of good things, but their space maybe wasn't just right for the things that were needed. And the Methodist Church really provides this really great opportunity to have a space that's already ready and kind of designed for lots of community gathering. The price of the building ended up being much lower than what we thought it would be. It's much less than the assessment. So we are purchasing it for $275,000. And kind of the exciting news is that we have raised right at this point, as of today, like $282,000 from the community in the 6-7 weeks that we've been fundraising. So we have the ability to buy the building for cash with no loans. So we will own it outright, which is amazing. And we're still fundraising kind of for the first kind of part of our starting up and getting some initial things done in the building, as well as staff costs. So our vision is the Dryden Center for Community will be an inclusive gathering place where the sounds and sights of community creativity always stream through its open doors. We want to create a welcoming space for everyone in the greater Dryden community. So, we do have a little bit of a focus on arts and music using the space that is available there. But it really will be kind of an all-purpose community center with bringing back the Wednesday dinners, having some other events. People will be able to rent out spaces, social services, that are based down in Ithaca would be able to meet clients in our space. We've been working with an insurance agent to make sure that we kind of can cover all the things that we need to cover. And we're really excited about all the possibilities. Kind of step in with, the New York Forward grant that Dryden received. So they have that $4.5 million grant for transforming Main Street. While it can't be used to purchase property, it can be used to renovate property. So one of the big ticket items that we have on our request is putting in air source heat pumps. So thinking about energy usage of the building and also just being able to use it year round. There are lots of reports that while the heating system looks great, there is no cooling in there currently. So they would try to reduce what activities they could do in there in the summer. Definitely with our summers getting a little longer and a little hotter, we, are interested in cooling. So that's one of the things, some other things that we would be using that grant for would be some changing of flooring to make it better for dancing and yoga, looking at the elevator, possibly upgrading the elevator that's currently there, and some kitchen renovations. So that there's a great commercial kitchen or certified kitchen currently. But one of the groups that we've been talking with recently is the Culinary Arts Program at TC3, which is interested in renting from us to do their classes since there was the closing of the space downtown. So still in the works, no MOUs on the table at the moment, but we're working on that. And that would be a really great way to have a regular tenant in the building that would help pay for services that we could be offering for free. So, we are looking at the space. I know a lot of people have been in that church space for the community dinners, for the rummage sales. Not everybody's been upstairs. The sanctuary space seats 190. We're looking at that as a multi-use performance space. Community movies, lectures, other things that we have in music, theater, and we're bringing back live theater into the heart of Dryden right now. We all enjoy the things that happen at the high school, but it would be great to have a community stage again. And then there's 7 classrooms on that education wing, which are really going to be ideal for individual and small group music and art lessons, which is one of my passions in this whole thing. Is as a parent in the Dryden School District, a lot of us travel far to have our kids have good teachers because there's not really a space where people can teach out of currently, and this will change that in a big way. So looking at how we're going to, obviously we're working on this business plan that has a kind of combination of factors. As a not-for-profit, we want to keep the lights on and insurance paid and our staff happy. But, we're looking at rental of spaces. We're looking at events that will be sponsored by the community center itself. Some of these, meals and things like that. We're really the ones kind of in charge. I mentioned this Culinary Arts Program. Another group we've been talking to is the Ithaca Suzuki Music Education, which is currently located at the South Hill Business Center. And it would be great to have Suzuki string education happening here in Dryden. And so they're interested in having kind of a satellite studio. So I currently work with them as an accompanist, and I have 2 kids who play Suzuki instruments. So I've been involved with them for a while, but they've recently kind of changed their model a little bit. Now they're also a nonprofit, and they would love to expand. There's several families in the Dryden area who drive to Ithaca twice a week for lessons and group classes, and this would reduce our commute time and also open it up to more families who might think that's unattainable or hard to do. We're also looking at memberships and donations, regular donations from the community, similar to what happens at the Homer Center for the Arts. And the Homer Center for the Arts actually just today has agreed to be a fiscal sponsor as we're waiting for our 501c3 status to come in, which is amazing and great. So we are incorporated with the state right now as a nonprofit, and our paperwork has been sent in to the IRS, but it may be many months before that comes through. So just in terms of certain ways people want to donate to us, and also the ability to apply for some grants, having that 501c3 status right now makes it a lot easier for us. So we're really grateful to the Homer Center for the Arts. And they've been talking about different ways that we can collaborate. One of the ideas was like when they do their Christmas Carol, maybe they would do a performance here in Dryden. If we were doing a Christmas cantata here, we might bring that to Homer. And so some collaboration there, which was great. So we're working on partnerships and collaboration with all kinds of groups. Yes, and then having grants through state and private foundations. So that's how we'll be funding what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we have this current fundraising goal of $400,000. We're well on the way there. A big chunk of that was due to a single individual who donated $200,000 a couple weeks ago, which was kind of amazing and lovely. And still in negotiations about how he wants to be recognized, if at all. It may just be he wanted to see something good happen in Dryden, and this is definitely going to be it.
Yeah.
So right now, we're independent from the village and the town, but we love your support. It's, we're going to be, we're, it can be a service organization to everybody in Dryden, figuring out what that's going to look like. So we're going to be a community center for the whole village, but really the whole town. I think there's going to be a lot of people who will be coming in. People have been reaching out to me about teaching dance classes, teaching yoga classes, teaching art classes. I really haven't had to do any solicitation at this point, just because everybody's coming to me to be like, how can I help? Which is wonderful. And it's showing the support from the community. We've had a couple fundraising events at the Dryden Creamery. We'll be having an event in a couple of weeks at the Protagonist Bookstore. The owners of Protagonist actually are on our board as well. We have some other kind of fundraisers that are going on, but a lot of people have been coming in and saying, here's what I'd like to see. And as easy as, having game nights and movie nights to, let's do some plays. Let's do, some other events, having open mic nights, or having spaces for teams to have their bands practice. So all kinds of possibilities, but we're going to be really limited on how we can, schedule all the spaces and who wants to be involved in volunteering. Yeah, we're really excited. So we have a website up. We are on Facebook. You can reach me by info@drydencenter.org. And that's who we are right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you have any questions.
So are we situation?
Yeah.
I know cars to a parking lot for now.
So yeah, we are still, we're kind of waiting to hear. There's been some people who have been talking with the owner of that parking lot, who is very supportive of our project and said, yes, you can use the parking lot. I'm in favor of having something in writing, so we know kind of who's in charge of plowing and, kind of maintenance and those kind of things. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be up for sale or gifted to us anytime soon, although that would be a lovely gift. I think if he's going to let us use the parking lot, we're going to say good, and just have some kind of, memorandum of understanding with him about what that's going to be. So we do have that parking lot.
Pretty interesting. Oh, in that side where the drugstore was, potential that's there.
Not that I've heard. We've had people inquire over the years, but there's always been something that.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely heard through the grapevine that the plan is to keep it as green space. But
I think it's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
yes, yeah.
pretty big awesome things that should happen there.
Yeah, and it really, you can kind of, it's palpable how people are just kind of, just hungering for this kind of thing to be happening in the village. Yeah. Yeah, well, and also just kind of all the things that have been happening in the village in terms of the yarn store and the bookstore and the clay school, all these spaces could have the ability to, and we've been talking with all of them about, having a bigger space for some events that they want to run. Even the Falcon Optical was saying, oh, we could do, a trade show. We haven't done maybe one of these in years, but having that space available for anybody in Dryden to have kind of a bigger gathering space that's, not the town hall, right? Like is nice, and it's, walkable. Talking with people at Willowbrook about what they would like to see happening there. I work at the library, so one of the things we've been talking about is some of the library events that just kind of get too crowded or too noisy at the library. We could have this, have collaboration with them. to have the space that has a kitchen that, has a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Diane will be so sad. Yes. Yeah, Diane did a lot of cooking out of that kitchen at the library, which, I don't know if anybody's ever been in the back room, but the sink really is about that big. So yeah, she's very supportive of this project and is going to be working with us too. So just, all the connections of people who are interested in community building and connecting people in Dryden. There is. Yeah, 1934 Wicks pipe organ. That's my main instrument. I've left my job as the music director down at the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca, where I was organist for the past 14 years, to do this. I mean, I didn't know this is what I left it for, but it is. But yeah, I think I love the idea of a pipe organ in the civic space and having people, especially young people, exposed to organs. So I will be teaching on that instrument. I've already had a couple of teenagers who I was talking about rehearsal space, and they're like, "Oh, what about the organ? And who's going to be teaching the organ?" I'm like, "That can be." So, I already have students signed up and ready to go, which is fun. Yeah. And I said, every event will have to play a little organ.
I know when the church announced the sale, they had talked about having like the weekly service there still. Are they still planning on that?
No. Yeah, so the space has been, I guess, desanctified in the Methodist tradition. So yeah, they're purchasing the building from Methodist Conference. And there's been some kind of back and forth about other groups who may want to use that space potentially. I mean, that's a potential for if there's a small church group, or there's currently a group that rents at the high school, uses the high school cafeteria, whether they would want to have, they already kind of don't have a home, but they want to have a space on Sunday morning, maybe. We're thinking about creative uses of, obviously the sanctuary has a giant cross on the wall still that's still there that we have to figure out. Do we take this down and move it somewhere, or do we have curtains that kind of cover it up? And then if somebody wants to have a wedding there and wants to have some Christian symbolism, they can have that. And that would maybe save us from having to figure out what to do with it. But yes, curtains are an issue. So what we're talking about.
The walls are all that inlaid and
It's 10. Yeah, I think they're 10.
so it's all, I went in there with Tom and
Mhm.
Mayor and too.
Yeah.
That was it just like a year and a half ago? This happened fast.
Yeah. Did happen really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't we have any intention of changing the outside. I know people have been asking about, they're really concerned about the spires going down. And I'm like, I don't know anything about, I'm pretty sure we are not taking the spires down. We actually have an architectural historian who has, volunteered her time and her skills for getting grant funding if and when we need, some of that kind of architectural things that might have to happen at some point down the road. But I think, things like the roof seem pretty okay right now. There's nothing major that has to happen to the outside of the building. We probably won't change that. And I'm pretty sure they actually put vinyl siding on several years ago. So, which, it's good because we don't have to worry about painting it. We wouldn't have to paint it, but also, I think it changed the historic, status of the building. So they kind of lost the
It's no
ability.
longer eligible or on slippers.
Correct. Which, it has its pluses and minuses. But yeah, we have no plans to change the way that corner looks right now.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, I'm leading, but we have a whole team of people who are really just dedicated and supporting this every step of the way. So it's been really wonderful.
And now it's been
No. So we're still, we're waiting to get lawyers for a closing date, but we have been able to show proof of funds for, the money that we were supposed to raise. So that was a contingency in our contract. And so that has been met. And so, we're just kind of waiting for lawyers to tell us, when we can close. There are a couple of things that might delay us because it was a former church. It has to go through the state Supreme Court. And I think the Methodist Conference as a whole has to come in and vote on this, and so I'm not sure the timeline of that, or if we have to wait for that to happen, or if we can take possession before that happens, so. We're hoping, possibly mid to end of November. It would be great if we're ready by the time it's the Dryden Holiday Celebration, which is the first Saturday of December, to have, at least tours so people can walk through and, hear what's the possibilities are and see the space. But yeah, possibly, as early as January, have programs running. Yeah,
We have great news.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
The one on your burgers, one.
Okay,
You went.
all right, great.
I don't think Rick had on. I was just checking to see if Rick had sent anything. Yeah, they've been busy doing work, including tree removals and things. So you got emails about people thanking us for doing that, to give them a work for us. Right, I'm gonna just show your.
Yeah, the monthly updates on the website. Some of these issues are already coming up on the agenda down below, so no questions. For those items.
Who says share the one point? Yeah, there's a couple of things that are on the agenda to. One's just the telecommunications tower. The other is. More recommendable.
I am here on the Zoom for the telecommunications. My name is Arian Eastman. I'm with Centerline Communications.
Yeah, we'll be there in a little bit. Just,
No problem. I just wanted you to know I was here.
Okay, thanks. Any questions for Ray? No, this. Yeah.
Jason and I will vote on that. I asked you to speak. One of us is always present.
Yeah. Yeah, usually, we trade it off. Sometimes I get stuck in court. But then that. Yeah. Rich DePaolo. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's about the upgrades we see wants the partners to do, and to be a huge cost difference over the time.
Yeah.
So. So we're doing a set of alarms yet, so, but it could be twice as much as what the original plan was. Yeah, they've been coming to the meetings to most of the time. Okay. Um. Dave will be here. Yeah, Joe's put his stuff off, we'll be starting to the other. Yeah, things, just two different budget modifications. So the first one is from. And there's. Its funds are budgeted to other departments.
We already took,
Yeah, well, the budget modification needs to be done anyhow.
but it was 25,000.
Yeah, it's fine.
So the one's wrong. So we're looking at number two now. I'll look at number one. So number one is, should be now. Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my last one was in.
Okay.
So this is for really voting and approve this, but we still do the budget on it, so. That's modification.
Over 50,000.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
That was the one inspired.
Yeah. I'll look at that one. Says 151. So.
What was that budget modification for the fire departments?
For Barna and
I saw 50,000, 25, what's that for?
for Varna and WB Strong picking up the Etna territory. The Etna Fire Department territory, since we didn't contract with Etna for 2025.
Can I say something about,
Well, is it about the contract?
well, this is in support of the Etna Fire Department. You could give all the money you want to others, you can't replace the experience.
Yeah, if you want, I mean, if. Yeah, because we have the public comment part at the end of the meeting, if you want to. Be able to talk longer about that, because we have other people with things on the agenda, like the lady from South Tower. Company to present that, and then we have our fiber project stuff. So if you. Want to do all that at the end, when we have public. It's the citizens privilege part, we do it at the end because. I want people to see what we do.
It doesn't change the budget modification.
Yeah, it's not gonna change the budget model, I mean.
So it's. No, I'm not, but. You raise the amount of money that you're taxing us to pay for the fire departments, you close two of them. You split that money between the other three, and now you're giving the other three more money. Is that what?
That's what that was for Varna and that.
But that's
for Varna and WB Strong.
with what we saw here a month or two ago, correct?
No, last month we voted on 25,000 to go to both. To each Varna,
Right.
25,000 to Varna and 25,000 to WB Strong to cover. What they've been covering it all year before that, they've been covering the Etna territory.
Right,
This is the same thing, it's just.
It's just, we have it's an accounting.
The giving, it's just signing the.
Right,
Signing the paper.
it's more money than you gave me on the contract with the close. Brookendale and Etna, you split that money between the other three,
No,
right? So
No,
now you're
it's-
giving more
I
money.
never, no, it's not more money, it's the money that. Was already raised that's going to these departments.
right.
It's covered territory that they took over when we decided not to contract with Etna.
Yes.
So it's additional, they're covering additional territory full time. Because Aetna is now no longer covering that territory, and that's what that extra $25,000 was for, to cover the costs of that.
Our taxes last year for fire protection actually went up 5%. And you divided that among 3 departments rather than 5.
Well, there were the 5, for Brookendale, we didn't offer a contract to at all, so we didn't raise anything for that, and then Aetna was a decision after during the budget hearings last year, but why not to do it? So then that money's already raised, we'll be using it this coming budget year.
Right, our tax bill last year.
So then some of the fund balance we have is gonna probably likely be used towards the other departments, but also if you've been paying any attention for the last 5 years, the capital costs for trucks and things have gone up exponentially. So these departments, that we are contracting with, are gonna need that funding anyhow, just to pay for new equipment. So, but if you wanna talk about the contract later, we're gonna get to that part of the meeting pretty quick, because many of these things are very fast, so you're not gonna have to wait too long. Okay, but other people have been looking at this agenda and plan to be heard before that. So, right.
You scroll down.
The second budget mod is for code enforcement equipment to code contraction. New code books and materials. So move that.
Second. Yes, yes.
Yes. He's not, okay, so I'm gonna just, since he's on here, I'm gonna jump to the telecommunications tower since she's on. I'm just gonna jump down to that one, so 11E. So. Ms. Eastman, are you ready to go?
Yep, I'm ready.
You need to be able to share anything on the screen?
Do you need me to? I can try. I just have to transfer it from a different computer.
I have stuff on, was there anything that you were gonna show, like the site plan?
Only if you needed me to go over anything specific with them. Typically, we just go based on what you need.
Why don't you just click what the project was?
Yep. So originally we had it as a co-location on the 471 Snyder Hill Road cell phone tower. We then discovered that there was actually no equipment on it. So the planning board deemed it to be a new build. So we'll be putting on the tower antennas and all the equipment on the tower itself with no change to the height of the tower. And then we will also be adding ground equipment with no change to the footprint of the tower.
What?
The tower exists.
Yeah, it's existing, so.
Or is this just repair?
One would hope that better coverage would be one of the results. this tower was occupied by different companies in the past. I don't know exactly what equipment.
So it's
It's
been,
coming up with newer technology equipment, therefore it got better coverage.
Yeah, it did originally have the similar type of equipment on it, but all the other equipment for the other companies has come down. We would be putting it up for T-Mobile.
It looks like the equipment must have come down more than 5 years ago. Or did you just take it down?
September of 2024. It's the last.
Bad road. Number reported,
But we're allowed them to apply for a new equipment. So it had an engineering report, all the deficiencies were remedied. And it would all follow with this SCP application.
And we still are ruling for the county's 239 review.
Like. We're seeing the application, we have to have an SCP, we'll have to set up a hearing.
Yeah, we just need to schedule a public hearing, so.
November 20th.
As long as everybody, as long, we'll schedule for November 20th, but as long as you have everything. But they'll do it that night. If we don't have everything, we can't. Do it that night.
Right. Well, no, we could still go forward because if the county doesn't respond within 30 days, it's de facto neglect.
Right. So then, would you have any other? But on the 20th. Yeah. That's great. Okay. I think we're all set, so we'll schedule it for. So. No, we're all set. Great, thanks, Ms. Eastman.
Okay, I will be there on the 20th then. Thank you.
Thank you. So then the next thing we have is for the wastewater system improvements at Hanshaw Village. This is the city, we have to do the seeker declaration. Right, you want
Right, so this project has been in design over the summer. We actually did a CDBG application in September. So this is going through the secret process for that, both project and application. This would be about a $2.3 million project to extend our public sewer from south side Route 13, by half mile up Hanshaw Road to the first mobile home. Most of the work would take place within the road right away, both along Hanshaw and within the park itself. There is a wetland on that property, but any installations near the wetland would be done by underground directional drilling.
you got grant money for this?
We'll hopefully have that end of the calendar.
Oh. And so what the other one will next spring?
Ideally, we would get final design work next spring and potentially within 2026 have it built out.
So we just have to do the shortly, just
The parts 1, 2, and 3 are all in one vacuum.
Yeah. Everybody review it.
We did this in Utah.
So the Doesn't involve any. Legislation, legislative adoptable plan or anything. We do need to get permits, but that's what we're working with already DOT.
Yes, and DOT like the future project to
Yeah.
cross there right away.
Um. It's residential rural. Number five, it's permitted use as part of the comp plan. It's consistent. It's a sewer pipe, so. It's not, there's no critical environmental areas, you know. It's not gonna have any effects on traffic or transportation or pedestrian or bike routes.
Very much needed.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's a necessary project, is there? Yeah, that's not a. Yeah. Well, just so people already know what's using it up there, it's on, so just quickly go through. Doesn't exceed state energy code, it's number 9, number 10. Doesn't connect to the water supply, it's connected to the wastewater, so that's my number 11 is for connecting to wastewater utilities. It's going to be connecting to the Ithaca treatment plant. It's not this historic or archaeological site. That's number 12, number 13. It just is about is it is any portion of the proposed action lands adjoined contain wetlands or water bodies? Yes, it's 1,200 feet. So it's 11 and about 11 and a half acre wetland that begins in the southwest corner and continues in south in the wooded area. Wetland area is surrounded by 500-foot zone, so now it's near that. The habitat types are nearby are wetland, ag grass / grassland, suburban. There's no animal habitats threatened of the threatened or endangered species. It's not in the 100-year floodplain. Notice number 16, 17. It's about where it creates stormwater discharge or stormwater discharge of other properties. The answer is no on all those. 18 is the does the proposed action include construction or other activities? No. Is it location of active or closed solid waste site now? The last question is, has the site of the proposed action or joint property been subject to remediation for hazardous waste? Is no. So. And they just.
In that same document, we scroll down and an exhibit A that talks about, potential impacts, and there's also a draft part 2.
That's the just shows you where it's going to be. So the red line is where this sewer lines will be run. And short. Yeah. Everything was marked no or small and
Several pages to that.
The rationale for supporting is. Number one, for not gonna have any impact. Ag resources. They'll be all underground, so there's no aesthetic issues, noise. Will occur when there's construction, but after that. You could build it, you know. There's not gonna be an impact on stormwater. Yeah, it's gonna be underground when it's completed. The map showed where the wetlands and things were, but. Again, this is gonna be an uneven. Project. Well, in the road right away, so it's not going dry into any of these resources. SHPO said there's no historic properties or archaeological or other historic resources affected. Traffic impacts will happen during construction. It's gonna upgrade existing sewer, says water for some reason. Wastewater. Under community character. Yeah. It's not, I mean, there's not gonna be wildlife impact. It's. Well, couple of paragraphs to say that. There's no hazard, I mean, there's no hazardous waste storage and it's. It's all meant to. Move waste to a treatment. plant. Explanations. Basically, it's never positive health impact is really. Sewage issues from them. Yep. So I will move the resolution for a negative seeker declaration. So that means there's no. Adverse environmental events.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Need anything else on my line?
Nope, all good, thank you.
David, do you need another minute or are you? Ready?
Essentially a report earlier today.
Yep.
Well, just play that on the screen, that's what I'll be talking to. Yeah. All right. That was the October report already for Dryden Fiber. Have a very full month as we get closer to signing the grant disbursement agreement with New York State.
as well as beginning construction in the Frueville region of town and focusing on the MDUs and challenging parcels to reach with fiber, mostly because of the unit counts. So we're talking about where we are right now as of the beginning of this month, which is already almost 3 weeks ago. We now have 476 paying customers. We added 8 in September, one of our smallest months in a couple of years. We did have 27 inbound requests, and our monthly revenue grew to $26,000 in September. This is August, but that should be September. We did not add any new parcels in September. That's because we were doing everything else involved with construction, which is the electrical make ready, getting the telephone poles ready for us to attach, as well as getting the bid completed, awarded, and all the network audit completed so we can begin construction. We believe construction will start sometime between now and November 2nd with the underground, and shortly after that with the aerial part of this expansion build. That's in the Frueville area. This is about 900 parcels. It's 25 plus miles of fiber. From when we start, it'll be about 60 business days, which is about 3 months' time. So if we start that around November 1st, we should be done with that November, December, January. By about February 1st, we might lose a few days from Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we're saying by March 1st, that region of town will be completed. And that is finishing up the village of Frueville, working west down West Dryden Road and Bowling Plain Road, north from the village of Frueville, Route 38 all the way to Peru Road, then northeast from the village of Frueville to McLean, up Ed Hill Road, Iowa School, Ocean, Morris, and connect Frueville Road all the way from McLean to Lansing. There's a pretty big triangle kind of coming out of Frueville going northwest and northeast. This agreement contract has a 60 business day build time for when they begin work. So contractually, based on bid amount and the commitments in the bid, 60 days from a start date of November 1st, those would be around February 1st, give or take, because of the holidays. So by March 1st, that should be all completed. Okay, in parallel to that, we will be building out the southern half of town, which is every other parcel in the town of Dryden that's not covered by this grant, or that's not covered by this awarded area, which includes Route 13, Ellis Hollow, Snyder Hill, Route 38 south toward the lake, all the way to the town line, Hammond Hill, Irish Settlement, Midline Road, there's an Ellis Hollow, Linwood Road, also flowing all the way down from Route 13 all the way to the Caroline town line, and all the way west to Lansing and town of Ithaca, and east all the way to Virgil and down to Richford. That is being designed now and getting ready for bid. We hope it goes out to bid by the end of this month, or sometime in November. We start on that in parallel or in the same time as the other road, starting in January. That one we're estimating about 180 days, so about 6 months time. After that, we'll be doing the third bid, which is all the town of Caroline as part of the MIP award. We're also aiming to have that go for bid this month, awarded in November, and work would start in January. And that has, I think, around 180 business days, which is 9 months. The other one should be 180 days on the calendar. So everything comes together, all the electrical make ready happens, then the project is slated to be completed with construction by late next year. There are certain components of that that have to be completed for the New York State funding. Those get a little bit of a priority. Everything else will come after that. If we need to slip on the timing to reach the New York State funded ones first, those will have to get completed before the end of next year by 12/31/26. And then the rest of them would be done sometime in Q1 2027 if we have to extend. So this is probably the first time we've actually had the project broken down to these three packages that are bid out that will then be awarded with a timeline and a budget. Prior to this, it wasn't done this way. Marketing in September, we emailed blast to our 470 customers. We talked about our refer friend program and signage. We had a handful of people ask for signs, so we put some new signs out. The Empire State Development Board did in September, and another hearing yesterday. We're very close to having a GDA, the grant disbursement agreement, to us. It should be here around November 5th, and they'll be ready to sign by November 10th. Immediately after that is signed, we will submit our first reimbursement request, which will be for about $2 million. As it says on there, the grant is now for a $12.6 million construction project. $11.6 million of that comes from New York State. About $8 million of that will go to Caroline, and the remaining $4.5 million or so goes to Dryden. That will be done in 4 tranches. So we have to hit certain milestones. We've hit all those milestones for the first tranche, which is basically all the planning milestones. After that, we have to do, I believe it's 40 miles of construction and then 75 miles of construction, and then complete the construction to get the remainder, the other 3 tranches of funding. Finally, in September, we did a network audit. That started, it's almost done. We did complete the Fruitville region of the network audit. So Vantage is now processing all the information about what's out there on the lines. That will allow the Fruitville construction to be built out with enough fiber and strand and enough ports for every house who wants to sign up, as well as growing, have enough ports on the network, plug in all the new houses that we're expecting in the region. That was that we identified about 4 months ago that our prior partner was not keeping track of this very well or at all. So there was a lot of guesswork when it came down to the last step, which is the installations. We didn't know what was out there for us to plug into. So that will have a complete network audit, so we'll know exactly what's available. The repair project did wrap up. There were 270 plus anchors and guy wires installed on the network. Again, that was since Vantage took over and they audited the entire physical network. They identified they were all over one of our network. There were missing components that were not in the original design documents from our previous engineering firm. So they said to make this secure for wind, snow, ice, you need to put these anchors and guy lines down. So Syracuse Utilities did that work. And then finally in September, if that wasn't enough, we also brought our inventory and account management in-house. We had outsourced that for the previous 27 months. And that is now in-house as part of our operations. I'm handling the account management for now. Matt Knast from our accounting team is managing inventory. We're doing a physical inventory of everything we have in our connexes and our CO to get a count, and then we'll be able to manage much closer to the organization than having that outsourced. Sometime, hopefully in January 2026, we'll hire a full-time account manager to take on that role, which should be a substantial savings for the project to have someone in-house do that.
That would be permanent.
Probably.
I need a new department.
It might move to part-time. It's hard to know the extent that we'll need account management when we have 5,000 customers, including 300 or 400 business customers. We'll need to have someone they can talk to and ask questions about and talk about renewals and expansion and talk about the need for greater service. And that's a lot of relationships to have for a single person in the project, being me, the executive director. It would be good to be able to just share some of that load. As with what we found with our competitors out there offering services, it's hard to get anyone on the phone. We have really good customer service, but when it comes to account management and asking some of those difficult questions, if you're a property manager with 20 or 30 units, you need to talk to somebody at Dryden Fiber to walk through how's this going to get brought onto a site, how will it get wired into my building, how will you make sure that it gets sold to my tenants that they'll use it. It's an ongoing piece of the project. And even once it's all built out and everyone, even if we had 100% build out, we still want some resource that'll support that. In the preliminary budget for like what this project looks like in 4 years, where we have 4,000 plus customers, that role is well paid for within the revenue.
So how is Matt's job different than that? Is he more technical?
Matt Tess is a accounting team member. So he does all of the accounts payable, accounts receivable, all the reporting for New York State to get the reimbursement prints together.
Okay.
And on top of that, because everything we buy goes through accounting for both following procurement as well as make sure the orders come in, like having him with the inventories is a good fit for him.
Okay, was that going multiple others and stuff?
Still part time.
Okay.
Yeah. We're balancing his time up with everything else he's doing and adding this into it. Yeah. More slides. Next slide is the scoreboard. We are now at 15 months to go with 15 months passed so far since we were awarded this grant. We have done a ton of planning. A lot of permitting has been conducted. We have permits in hand to do the electrical make ready. A lot of that is completed now in both Dryden and Caroline. In the October Dryden newsletter that the town supervisory department put out, I included an article about the construction going on in this electrical make ready field. And that is the work we have to do on every single utility pole that we connect fiber to. We have to make sure they are ready for us to connect to them. We've awarded that work to two contractors. One is HRS, or H. Richardson and Son. The other is Danella. Both of those companies have forestry divisions who will do some tree clearing around poles where we attach. In the newsletter, I put the logos of Danella and H. Richardson and Son. If you see vehicles with either of these logos, they're working on Dryden Fiber. Don't necessarily say Dryden Fiber because they work on projects all over the region. But when they're here in town and you see those trucks, they're working for us on this project. I also include the logos for Syracuse Utilities, as well as Vantage and Clarity Connect, the other three partners we're working with for construction, design, and installations. And we see the vehicles for any of those 5 businesses that are working on building Dryden Fiber. We're very busy all over town. I don't think I had been to town hall 9 of the last 10 business days, and I've seen vehicles from one of those companies. I think 8 of the last 9 trips here. They're just all over town working on the project. What's that?
Oh,
Well, usually when you see them, anyway, that's the public who's tuning in and watching this broadcast. Slow down. They have also hired flagging companies to flag and do traffic control. They're only going to be working on these total poles once for the make ready and then once for the construction and splicing. There will be times when the traffic lanes are down to single lanes. It is not going to be an ongoing thing as Dryden Fiber continues for the next 40 years. This is 3 touches to that pole. Once for electrical make ready, once to put the stranding fiber on the pole, and once to do the splicing, and then they should be not interrupting traffic. So for this short period of time on your own road, take it easy. On some of the main roads, I know this happens on Route 366, and it's going to be on Route 13 as well as 38 and Route 79. Just be patient. It's part of the project, but it will not be ongoing forever, and we're moving our way through it. So you could honk lightly, but we'd rather have it just slow down and be nice.
it's been awful.
But you've been very busy on Brewville Road. There's a lot of poles on Brewville Road that we're connecting to. On both sides of the road. So we have parcels reached over here. We have MIP installs conducted so far, miles completed. Now we're working our way through. Now that construction is going to begin in November, we'll start to see the numbers in the blue boxes on the bottom of the slide increase as we add more miles and as we add connections to the MIP houses that are unserved or underserved. Those are houses that are on dial-up or DSL. Okay, scoreboard, as we say, we had 8 new installs this month. We are quite below how we were, but we are also really redesigned the entire network in the last 8 months. So we're going forward, we're on a much better trajectory. It's kind of a slower start, but faster acceleration. We're going to get to the finish line faster than we would have before. Just a lot of planning. We're going to be projecting about 100 installs in Dryden per month in 2026. We'll also be projecting 45 installs per month starting in June in Caroline. So we'll be seeing these numbers increase substantially across the entire network over the next 18 months. The next slide is an update to the project highlights. This poster is here in Town Hall. It talks about the New York State funded project with all the details. We'll put that on the DrydenFiber.com website as soon as it gets final approval, and we have that grant disbursement agreement from New York State. In my piece summary slide is impossible to read. I'm sorry. This is the process of getting the grant disbursement agreement signed, which shows November 5th to 12th. We'll have that agreement in hand to sign and send our first reimbursement request. In Caroline, we are constructing a central office, which will look similar to the CO down behind the DPW building. This is a part of the project that's funded by New York State. However, each component of this has to be awarded, and then we have to bring those awards to the town board of Dryden to approve Dryden Fiber to pay those on behalf. So there's a couple of resolutions in tonight's packet for this Caroline central office. I already talked about permits and contractors in Milk Ready. So we'll go to the next slide, which is the Caroline groundbreaking. In about 10 days, on Monday, October 27th, we'll be breaking ground officially in the town of Caroline at their town hall, which is where their CEO is going to be. We've invited the governor of New York, who is the proponent of this Connect All Office grant project. We do not know if she'll be able to attend. I have a call with her team and the Connect All Office on Tuesday of next week. So we might know more information by sometime after that meeting next Tuesday. Even if the governor is not able to attend, we are going to have this event. We're going to have a groundbreaking. So we'll have an invitation to the community to show up and see this happen. We've asked the town supervisor from Caroline, Mark Whitner, to speak, as well as Jason. I'll probably say a few words as director of the project. I think we'll give the microphone to Dale Lamb. And then if there are any other dignitaries, we're going to be inviting both U.S. senators, Congressman Riley, as well as New York State Senator Leo Webb, Assemblyperson Kellis, and county legislator for Caroline, Dan Klein, to attend. I don't know if they'll all attend. I don't know if we'll have time for everyone to say much about the project. But at least the bill right now would be the governor, the 2 town supervisors, and myself. That's at 12:30 with arrive at 12:30 in the afternoon. Speeches, et cetera, start at 1, and there'll be official groundbreaking around 1:30, and it ends at 2. Open to the public. You're welcome to attend and participate. No big deal. This is also July the 15th, which was yesterday. We're not holding anyone that just show up. We'll also be inviting the media. With some of the dignitaries who've added to our list to invite. And I think that is it for this part of the report. Any questions? And before we go to the resolutions, I have a few things I want to show. One is we now have these ID badges. So which requests from Saturday Connect, who does our installations. They ask for some kind of a badge. They have one, I guess, on their vehicles, but when they go to people's houses to do installs on their behalf, we've now given them these Dryden Fiber badges. It has their photo, it has their first and last name, has the date it was issued. They're out there. We've given them lanyards. So Cassie helped out with that project. It was super for her to help out and get that done. We also put together, these are door hanger cards that can go on to doors when we have neighborhoods that we have service. We can go door to door and put these on doorknobs to say, hey, it's now available to you. We'll do a different version of this when we go to Caroline in about a year. But for Dryden, there's a QR code they can scan. It goes right to the online form to request service, and we can do installations. Right now, our installation time from sign up is about 3 days. It's pretty quick turnaround time. About a year ago, it was 2 weeks, so we sped that up.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bringers. The last thing is we now have Dryden Fiber stickers that go on all of our equipment. It says Dryden Fiber, property of Dryden Fiber. Please return to Dryden Fiber, drydenfiber.com. So when customers sign up for the service, if they have questions about who this is, they now have our sticker on the modem as well as the Wi-Fi device. When they are done with the service, if people move out of town, if they decide they're going to no longer need our service, it says right there on the sticker, please return this to Dryden. So then we can recollect the items. It wasn't done before, and now it's here, it's in hand, and the first 475 customers don't have that. The next, 4,000 will have that on our equipment. And that's another project that Cassie helped out with.
I did try to do my work, they're going from, my narrative, for now, afterwards. I suppose it's.
No response? Not yet.
It's in a reminder.
Tricia saw your text. It's on the way.
Buffalo's not really that far.
No.
I know it could have.
It could happen. People have been asking me if and when the governor arrives, or should we arriving by helicopter or by plane? And I'm like, I don't know. That's a great thing to talk about. You were saying she's going to do it. That's great. So we don't know. I imagine she'll drive down for a little bit, but we'll see. Then I'll have an answer to that next time I report to this board in 1 month. Excellent. So I have 2 resolutions. Two in the packet.
First one's approved the material purchase for Great North.
Yes, this is for the construction of the hut in Caroline, needs some materials. Any questions?
Second.
As part of the discussion, now you've seconded it. This resolution says $9,445.74. It also has another decimal point, another 2 zeros after that. That is, that should not be there. It's 9,447. Let's see where in the invoice. I'm not sure what that extra 0.00 is there, but it is not. We're not going to the 100th of a penny, and it's not like a $9 million or whatever. It's here 9,445.74. I just saw that in the resolution. Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And the next resolution is for the hut in Caroline. So it's a $26,000 resolution. A couple hours ago, a project manager at Vantage sent me an update to this. Due to the location of the hut and the existing power charging station for electric cars in Caroline at their town hall, we need to move that power line, which would go right under the hut, about 10 feet south, so we can construct the hut where we want to have it and not hit the line that goes from town hall in Caroline to their current charging station. So the updated cost for this is $29,500. It's $3,500 increase.
But we can change.
Right, so the resolution should be for 29,500.
So then I'll move the resolution be amended now 29,500.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
The third resolution I sent much more recently, over the last 2 hours, for this event in Caroline on October 27th. We are going to use our existing marketing resource, Kyle Jensen, who we've been working with for about 1.5 years. He's going to do photography for us. It's at his current rate, so it's quite in the ballpark of what we've been paying and what we're using him for. So that's a good fit for the project. We also thought it would be good to have some video production. Kyle referred us to this company, Jeremiah Craig Media LLC, based in Ithaca. He's a member of the Chamber of Commerce. He's done work for the Chamber, as well as a few other things like the Fab Five Awards or something like that. When I think of video, typically, like just to get someone in the door, it's like $2,000, $3,000, because he's local. He knows it's a public project. His bid came in for like 400 for the down payment, 400 to wrap it up, so $800 total. Now, with potentially a little extra, we want to do extra commercials that we put on social media, those things. I put not to exceed 1,500. We're still working on the exact details. It's a pretty small amount for having some real good video content for marketing Dryden Fiber in Dryden with this dig.
I'm for new marketing since. You probably see this as something like that, which I would try.
It's huge.
I'm questioning.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be in the interviews or probably take this?
So considering this, he did one quote that was just film and produce like a 3-minute, here's what happened. And then for really like $150, he's like, I'll do one-on-one interviews with 5 or 6 people who are there. So if we can get the governor, or we can get the supervisors, just answer 1 or 2 questions, get those ready for social media. Yeah, like what's your team for this groundbreaking? What do you think about it? And your excitement or the interest from the community.
Yeah.
So the resolution's up on the screen.
No, this is a good part.
If you want to do a drone, not a drone subcontractor he works with, but he said, this is at a Dryden, this is the Caroline Down Hall. He said, given the proximity of the Caroline Down Hall to the Ithaca Tompkins Airport, they would need special permits to do a drone of the overhead at Caroline Town Hall. So given the short amount of time, he didn't think they could turn around the permits in time, which was surprising to me.
No.
I know there was a drone at the opening of the rail trail,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to ask that question. That's not my job. Not a permit. Absolutely. Given that we're about there was 12 days away or so. For this one, there will be other events. There will be the day we have the service available for the first customer in Caroline. That will be an event. Before that, perhaps the day that we connect the Dryden network into the Caroline network will be an event. When we finish construction in Caroline, when we finish construction, get to the last, we splice in the last splice case in Dryden. All those could happen in the next 12 months. Those are all the other events that we want to celebrate, as well as reaching our 500th customer, which could happen next month, and then our 1,000th and 2,000th customers. So there'll be other events and other things we'll be celebrating in the future. But this is the next the big one that's coming.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Why did you out finally say happy? Reasons.
Really? Amazing. That's all. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. So there, the next thing it's like is the simple resolutions, I think. So first one, it was to just declare the planning department's 2012 Honda Insight surplus. They, as you know, they had two new vehicles. We don't need the third one. It's gonna be put up for auction.
I'll move that. A second. Yes. Yes.
Yes. See, so. And it's gonna go when the proceeds are going to the patient. The next one is for release the RFP for a feasibility study. For this, yeah, there's a 100-acre parcel on the north, across the road from the nice side, over down to the T. It's been, I mean, I think the last time they did a study over there, it's almost.
Yeah, the county did well.
We partnered with them on
Oh, the infrastructure.
the infrastructure study, yeah. 5 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So. Move that.
Second. Well,
It's two, yeah. Undeveloped, they're both, it's undeveloped.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I'll just move into resolution. The grant we have is for 9,009. So on the screen.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. The next thing is, so we got. The. So we have a recommendation. Planning board about. Data centers, crypto. But the talk was right, this hasn't been given over to Nate yet to put in. So I don't think it's ready for November 20th anyhow. So I'll be saying. Let's pass it off to Nate to give you the there's what introduce it.
That would allow us to actually.
February.
It's good. Not on us. I was in a lot of meetings. Actually. Some involvement of them. Here's, you know, guys, right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna mix you on.
The one word is it, you buy it. You give it a point. Try and. Deal with the elements. I'm interested in section. Renewable energy. Yeah. Performance standards. Are you? Or. Renewable energy expectation. I were to go for this, get enough. On board yet. I think we could. Be a little more certain about ordering. Then instead of. Whoever they're use. We. Yeah. Users are first. We don't really say users are required. Integrate. With the word.
I think some of the concern was just follow 7 years. We have enough people to enforce it.
So
Well, it's a vibe. You know, you're doing something, you want to make a spot, you want to spot. In terms of setting terms and addressing some concern. Sound. Right. Distance, size. Water. Yeah. But they did the very specific. I would just say, or we just say, now if the ban these things through. Be a bit of anything tomorrow. Again, it is this myself, but I worry it's being asked about. Quickly. Or.
I guess.
what was posted on the websites, the planning board's resolution with the proposed language. Well, I think what I had said, it has to go, we have to give it to Nate, so you can put it in the form of the local law that you proposed. I know, yeah, I don't think he's looked at any of this anyway. So,
No, I was wondering how close the.
I think there are numbers.
no,
Yes.
Yeah, there are a few different votes, but yeah, they were all split. I think we're on there.
Okay.
And Spain votes, you know. Yeah, so they're getting on for her.
good. But in order to really, I would just send it off to the Nate for now, we'll take it up again. And there won't be a public hearing next month. If we do one, it would be December, the moratorium doesn't expire till February.
I mean, we really would give the department. Especially if it's.
So I'll just put that. Right, and then the next thing is this climate action committee.
Yeah, so once they became a committee, they came up with new mission goals and bylaws. So they just wanted to run past us to see if we have any missions or recommendations. The only thing that would change is that Alice's last name has an extra E on it. Did a good job.
Yeah, and we don't need to approve it.
Yeah, we just wanted us to take a look at. We don't even have to work on the level there. They're continuing on.
And then the 2 volunteer board applications. They came up last month about that. So first one would be for Q is to be the affordable workforce housing committee.
So the workforce housing committee, decided to, if they would like to accept this number.
Okay.
So I'll make that motion.
Second,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
yes. And the next one is for Rachel Summer, DROIC. Should recommend.
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. Then, I know we did the advisory board update stuff, but. Since these folks are here for the, citizens privilege, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna jump the citizens privilege part up. So if you wanted to come up and talk about the Aetna stuff, you could just come to where the mic is though, because otherwise folks on Zoom can't hear you. Because there's people out there. If you don't have the mic, they can't- if you don't have the mic, they can't hear you.
This will probably make absolutely zero difference because you've already made all your decisions. However, there are many of us who feel,
Typically, give us your name. Very good.
okay, I'm Carol Nelson, I live at 216 Etna Road. There are many of us in the Etna area that are very concerned that we have a fire department close by. You can throw all the taxpayer money, the other departments, but that doesn't change. You can't buy the experience that the Etna Fire Department has. They're dedicated to taking care of the community. They just want to help out their neighbors, look out for the area. Everybody cannot buy that experience and that dedication. I've recently started helping out a little bit on their pancake breakfast. And after working with them, I know that they have faces. If there's ever a crisis in the little Etna Road, those are the faces I see that will make me feel that everything will have the best outcome. So we can give all the money to the other departments, raise our taxes with less coverage, and we're still not going to buy the experience. So anyway, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
Kim Dipchak, 23 Etna Road, the other end of Etna Road. And I guess I had a question first about the fire department. I was not aware of it in the winter when I think the majority of the decision making happened. And I regret that. But was an offer made? Was there any effort to negotiate the amount of money available in the contract to the Etna Fire Department? Or was it just an all or nothing? Like if you feel like you weren't getting enough value out of it, did you offer them any support to continue and improve? Or did you just?
For a couple of years, there was efforts to work with them, and then even last, I think it was February, they gave up another presentation to the board, and the board heard that and still didn't want to. I mean, they didn't feel like the presentation met the expectations that we had.
Of this board?
Yeah. So. And it wasn't in last fall during the budget meetings is when we heard from the other departments about what was going on, so. That's really how it all came about.
Is it anything they could do to improve in the future? Could they bring you a new proposal in next year?
They wrote us, but I think it was pretty much amounted to the same thing as they proposed last spring, which was not what the board was interested in. So they wrote, there were two letters and it didn't, there wasn't any change, real difference between what they could propose to us back in, well, yeah, February.
But. But in the future, could they? Would you ever entertain it as a fire
Yeah, I
department
mean,
again?
but I think we even were talking about it with them last year, we're considering moving to a fire district, so. Then they'd be able to just go to the district and they wouldn't have to worry about the town board, right?
I ask because it does affect my insurance rates and I do have personal experience when we needed medical help at our address, they were the first ones there. So in my direct life experience, their call response is a number one.
Yeah.
And then my other question is just my corner of Aetna is feeling rather unloved because despite emails or online requests for Dryden fiber, we don't have it. And it doesn't seem to be available on Aetna and most of Upper Creek. And I just wondered why. Maybe you guys aren't the ones to answer that, but
The trucks have been on that road on the other side, because I live on Wood Road. So I feel your pain too. We were supposed to get it at the end of last year, but there was some things that came up. So the Danella truck's on our road right now, which is exciting.
Yeah, we moved to a different one.
See-
Moving much faster to get the services out faster. It's kind of like it's been slow curve, but now it's gonna start happening much faster.
so you think Aetna Road, both ends are in the works soon?
We just heard tonight, that's.
I didn't hear anything about Aetna Road. I was listening. I couldn't hear it. And it doesn't show up on the website as addresses that are.
I'm in the same boat. I've been waiting out there. Yes.
Because I would send money for 5 houses. So if you-
Yeah. So,
It's like we're. Yeah. Jason horses.
Godspeed.
I think
Yeah.
the guy there is. They're all. It's a lot, like I said, better than they have.
For sure. I was just afraid they were moving to Carolina.
no, it's all, no, the Caroline part is because the grant, so that is the MIP portion, but also part of the town of Dryden side. And that work has to be done, like David said, by the end of next year. But fit in those gaps, there's also parts that aren't part of the project that are gonna be built at some time. And that's what this new construction management and design company is going to be able to do. They can do both at the same time.
There's
fine.
We don't want. Staying in apartments. We see men. We integrated into. Higher this. Places and volunteers. Done a lot. Agency. Like you said. Cautious about. Jeez. Very problems, but we have things. Mission, so probably. Right. Missionaries. Found the appropriators and. Mission. We don't. So it's the fire departments. City various departments. So. One of the resources and shield happens to shoot.
I will attempt to stay better informed. Thank you.
Please don't feel unloved. I drive by your house all the time and I'm always excited when I see progress being made. Oh, I think I saw like a pile of something the other day.
That was a pile of something.
Yeah, I should be built, so.
And I also want you to know that brown and green is not our siding choice permanently.
It'll be something.
Is there anybody else who wants to speak? How about online? See a couple of people if we wanted to do the, which would just people about anything. Is I'm gonna move on to the committee reports. End the meeting if no one else has anything to do for citizens privilege. I mean, if anybody else who's here wants to say anything. Or online on Zoom, if anyone's listening. Yeah, thanks for coming, folks. All right, so we'll move on to the committee reports and then wrap it up. So, well, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I mean, basically what we talked about was the HASIG RFP, which we already talked about this evening.
Yep.
And then we took the vote to accept Brian McHugh as a member, which we also already talked about.
Okay.
I mean, it's great that.
Yeah.
No, it was just a recommendation.
Oh,
Yeah, so they voted to recommend. Yeah,
but I don't have a problem with it.
No.
Not an advisory reports.
Yeah.
But it's accountable.
Hey.
That's great, before I have a lively discussion. One thing just in general is, so the Bob Betts Memorial, tree planting is moving forward. I believe trees that have already been delivered will be in June. They're looking to do the plantings on November 1st, for the rain date. There will be information about, looking for volunteers. If people would like into that effort. November 1st to the rain date of the week. They were gonna try to put something in the shopper even to make sure people, you know. I don't. I also worked on choosing the bench design for the bench there. There was a liaison who's on the zoning rewrite team, sharing an update on the conversation. Conversations around the data center, I had a discussion and there was very thoughtful conversations. Pros and cons. Split feelings about that. And there was also quite a bit of discussion about concerns about the driving ban of the current state that's in. At state money. State can be for it and different feelings. Details of it was on September 30th.
So they're.
Yes, I shared communication with them. Where you were at. Give people different feelings about it.
But I don't think you can share that. Piece of the newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Discussion and that was last week. Face to face.
And then the other thing that came up, was liaison that we have that's on the ag committee, had some concern about the proposed law.
The confinement.
Around animals.
Yeah.
And some very strong concerns about language that was in That's it. So.
No, we're not gonna take it up till beginning of next year.
So.
Cause I needed, I don't know if the ag committee's comments made to. Went to me,
Yeah. Transmitting.
They sent her
an response.
yeah, so I need to follow up on that.
Yeah,
stuff.
so they shared, she shared the draft with us and. Committee was strong. Feedback as well. Some of this, it'll be in the notes, but I can send it.
Yeah, maybe.
And that, wraps up, the business we have.
The planning board, of course, we talked about. It's. Probably know something we can take and get it off. That's. There's lots of discussion about it, and this is very good question. I don't know. But I mean, it's kind of an option. I like it. It's. That's a sketch plan, so they don't.
So for the climate action committee, we did have the repair cafe. I believe there were about 25 people in attendance, so they considered it a success. And I also received a unsolicited email from a resident who was thrilled that her lamp was repaired. So she was very excited about it. And they had a debrief over the weekend, but I haven't received any comments about that yet. Joe, did you go to the debrief meeting for the repair cafe?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you got on TV.
Did you bring it? And they couldn't repair it. Oh.
All right, regarding the rail trail. We were. Pinckney Road in Greenville.
Is it actionable in the next couple years?
Next. That was the goal. And the other thing is, it's been very activity in the last 3 weeks. Right, and so. OT. It's good, yeah. Well, the way is some responses from. Transportation. It's not. Her email. As long as this, we should wait. 2 weeks ago.
You mean again?
Yeah, so, minutes later, I. Exchange. You ready about picture? Revealing, or is it?
Been like that for a while.
They keep going, oh, just one last line, you know, revised language part. And it is revised, language. Babies, and all those sorts of. Very close. Right, I would expect it to do that, but yeah.
Well, as long as I don't say 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right?
Well, if it was 9 to 5, it would take 3 months. It's 3 months.
I'll play you 2 weeks.
Okay. No, I think it's gonna be already, it's 3 weeks then, but. We don't have that out, we'll shut down.
Yeah, well, I was just happy that we have, more ID than being shown by other contractors than feds do. When they go to people's doors. But I can keep going, but I'm gonna not have as much fun as I want right now.
That's what I got. Oh. There's dedication for this school moving through on 27.
Yeah.
Next week. I can't go inside of class.
I'll be there.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know which.
no, it's after. I mean, it's before, that's right before our meetings.
But they was coming to that. So, we're. Okay, and we can do.
What do we park? Yeah.
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 Much parking.
Carolyn Park.
Walk there on the trail.
I have parking now, because it's at its.
Yeah, because I think it's different.
Maybe I will leave it alone.
Alright, so that's it. Oh, and can I say one other thing there? I'll just say, so it's on there, and Tifa, and reservation passed, and last week, on concern. Supporting us, state level, or some, what she's thinking, it has to do with requiring everything related to that, we must. People state, we're all doing that, we just, our state, every valley should be almost saying that.
Now, it's going to be my, it's gonna be all.
So. Guys and already delivered the problem as a co-chair. We also passed a resolution. Urging and the state to ban that issue, speech, privacy. So maybe been problem. Or or student planning works for I rather think about briefly. And what. Was unanimous vote these resolutions. So the only non-conference also. So we got all that here in the county right now, it's not very good. Well. I said it.
For ag, we talked about that. The environment, so it was pretty short meeting. This month.
Yeah, we said we probably a little.
Which the law,
Yeah.
no, it's not posted anywhere yet, just because it's got they were asking it about whether their comments made it to the. And it more. It's follow up with Nate about that. And then DRYC, Marty's still waiting to hear back from CHA about grant writing and engineering. I put him as a placeholder in the budget that's 5,000. That, but I need to get, I emailed him, just talking. That's what, you need that number. So if it needs to be higher.
Well, she was, yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they can do both, they would get paid, partially paid off the grant. So, the engineering, or if they could be. Maybe a person covered by that. I just really need to know if we need to add more than. We have more to that 25,000 to the budget. I know those places will, we could probably end up budget modding if we had to. We don't have to. Sure. That's all I got. No, it's in the air, you hear anything?
No, it's me down. Not in public. No.
Oh, that's the first time that's ever happened.
See that guy back? No, but they were parked in my driveway.
What?
They're parked. Fine.
Oh, very good.
What are they doing in your driveway? You're not supposed to,
Raising the poles. They told me.
really? Oh, wow. Yeah, but he's like, where
So that the pole is more. Capacity, more cable. Does that make sense? I asked them who they were working for and I ran through a litany of companies and Brian said Brian Fiber. And the guy that was trying to placate me because they parked in the driveway. Well, I think that's probably unfortunately not.
He's dying over here. See their big car man.
Oh, yeah.
They're like,
You're gonna get a little magnetic thing on the side of the truck so that.
It's,
Yeah. Okay, I think we can adjourn.
right.
that's true.